Jack Sports. I'm Jackson Gerke alongside Blake Lumberger. It is Friday, December 2nd at around a little bit after 6 o'clock. Let's get right to what we have to talk about in today's topics in sports. Let's get right to it. Tonight, Blake, we got Colorado versus Washington for the Pac-12 championship. The heart may be more inclined for root for Colorado to head to Washington will return to the league, the playoffs. So what we're seeing is Washington is fourth in the playoff right now, Blake, and that's where we are right now today on BlackJack Sports. Is Washington is playing Colorado tonight in Santa Clara, California for the Pac-12 championship game. That's tonight at 9 o'clock. Wherever you're watching and wherever you're going to be during that time, that's where the game's going to be aired and its time and its location, and that's where I want to start off with tonight on BlackJack Sports. Good evening, Blake. What's going on? And let's get right to it on a fresh start on Friday night on BlackJack Sports.
Oh, I like that fresh start, Jack.
What's up, Blake? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Listen, you're exactly right. This is a big game tonight. This is no random Friday night game. Jackson, if Washington wins this game, they're in the playoffs. If they lose this game, are they out?
That's the question, because where Washington is right now, you're playing against a Colorado team who is a couple of players in the past have, caught some balls and wide receivers and caught some yardage for the football team for the ball since they got some wide receiver yards for that football team since 2002, I believe. So I think this football team's pretty good. I just think Washington's a little bit too heavier on the flip side. So that's where I think Washington might be, and I think that's going to be pretty good for them.
Well, Jack, I think you're right. Let's talk about this for a second. We're talking about the Pac-12 championship, and we're talking about two teams, Washington and Colorado. How about the teams we're not talking about? We're not talking about Oregon. We're not talking about Stanford. We're not talking about USC or UCLA. What's going on, man? This conference has morphed a little bit. If you'd have told me 3 years ago the Pac-12 Conference Championship in 2016 would involve Washington and Colorado, I would have said you're crazy, man.
And I am. And the reason why I am is because Washington and Colorado just got some good returning starters and players on their football teams, especially on their roster. If you look on their team's depth chart and know where they're at right now, they have a pretty good quarterback. And I think Colorado has some pretty good players on offense. But Washington has better players defensively and offensively. And I think Washington can run the table and know what they can do when their pressure is on, when their game is being played tonight.
Jackson, is there any chance Clemson loses tomorrow? I mean, they're playing Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just jumped into the top 25 this week. Is there any chance Virginia Tech can give Clemson a fight at all?
It's going to be a toss-up to me because
come on,
what we're seeing, how this is going to play out, I'm not really sure. We'll find out tomorrow night, but there is a likely chance that Virginia Tech should be able to pull this upset.
What?
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I really want Virginia Tech to win, but it's going to be a toss-up, but it's not going to be easy, though. What I will tell you is Virginia Tech should be able to run some players on offense. In their past season, I think they had a pretty good football team this past season. They should run some yardage and get some more percentage for their players so that they can be able to run the ball offensively so that they can catch one of their players and receiving their targets. So it's not going to be easy, however, because you're going up against a pretty good Dabble Sweeney, Deshaun Watson, Clemson Tigers team. I know how that game's going to play out, but it's going to be a little tough for me. It's just going to be on the Clemson Tigers, and that's what I think is going to happen to them tonight for tomorrow. So,
Jack,
see what happens.
Hey, listen, Clemson killed Carolina. They're clicking on all cylinders. If they play the same way, Virginia Tech better watch out. Now, keep this in mind. They're number 3 right now, which means they don't have to play Alabama currently unless Alabama were to lose to Florida, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in Arizona or Florida that that's going to happen. Jackson, Panthers, man, heartbreaking losses for the Panthers. They play again this week, but there's really, what's left to win for the Panthers? Jackson, NFL, Gronk is out for the season with another back surgery. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, if you're a Gronkowski fan or a Patriots fan, you hate to see this happening for the season-ending injury. That is not good news if you're a Gronk fan or a Patriots fan, because what we've learned is in the game, I think, last week for his injury, that's not his good day so far, ever since when that season-ending surgery happened, that injury. It's definitely not a good news if you're a Patriots fan right now, especially the way that turns out and the way it's going your way. That's not good news if you're a fan of that football team, especially for Gronkowski.
Jackson, you're exactly right. Listen to this. One more thing notable to mention. The Gamecocks basketball team is undefeated. Still, won last night. The Gamecocks women's team is undefeated. Man, things are looking good for basketball at South Carolina. Go Gamecocks. What do you think about Frank Martin?
You know, I think he has a good start in the early season. However, when you get to the conference play, which won't happen until like January or February, I believe, during the springtime months, once you get into that time of year again, you're going to see a little bit more toughness when you're playing against teams like Kentucky or, let's say, Alabama maybe. Those teams can be a little bit more challenging compared to what you are playing at right now. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. It's just going to be, you know, that kind of time. When that time of year comes, it's definitely going to be one of those moments in games you will see once again.
Jack, no doubt about it. Listen, you're exactly right. We'll find out. Listen, the SEC picked them to finish 10th out of all the teams, out of 16 teams in the SEC, and they're a top 25 team in the nation. So the SEC might have been off a little bit about that. But you're right. We'll see. When they get into conference play, we'll really find out what's going on. Jack, it's been a great Friday broadcast with you. Everybody needs to watch all the championship games tonight and tomorrow for sure. And we'll see you on Monday, man. It's been blessed to see you.
Blake, as always, great talking to you, and I will talk to you again on Monday.
See you, man.
Take care.